Welcome to the Fat to Fit HQ podcast. I'm your guest host, Howie Broyles, and along with me, I have all the winners of the August MyFitnessPal Challenge. In this podcast, we are chronicling our journey from fat to fit. We talk about pursuing a healthy lifestyle, not only in diet, but in all areas of life.
Big applause for you. That was pretty awesome. It's not as much fun when you don't mess it up. You did great. That was awesome. And we do have all the winners, right? Well, we don't have all the winners. We're missing a couple of gals who weren't able to make it at the last minute, and we'll talk about those gals in just a minute. But we have most of our August challenge winners. I really shouldn't be speaking, right? I shouldn't even be here. I shouldn't. Why should I not be here?
I couldn't imagine you not talking, Carol.
I know. That's what everybody's thinking right now. But I only logged in 22 days. Okay? I only did 22 days. Heron?
Yes.
Tell me, can you tell the folks? First, let's go through and introduce ourselves, and then you guys tell the folks what the challenge was and why I shouldn't even be here. Heron, do you want to start by telling us who you are?
Yeah, well, I'm Heron, and I discovered your podcast through my boyfriend, and I've been doing the Carb Night Solution. So because I found out from your podcast, and I've been doing pretty good on it. So I'm really happy about it. And then I'm also hiring Jeff Fry to help me out because I'm kind of stuck.
Well, I got excited when you wrote me yesterday and told me that you and your husband are both. Did you say husband or boyfriend?
Boyfriend.
Sorry.
Oh,
you
no,
and
no.
your boyfriend, you and Arturo are both gonna work with Jeff Fry, right?
Yes.
And Brad and I, my husband and I, have gotten into this stressful time where he's still coaching, but more coaching me to cope with the stress. So you guys might be the couple we want to follow.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, but you did already have a consultation with Jeff, right? How'd that go?
It went well. He thinks I'm eating too much protein, and I'm only eating on average about 80 grams a day. That's not a lot, and he thinks I need more carb because he says I'm very active. So.
Yeah, it's interesting because depending on what you want to do or what your goals are right now, too much, not enough. You know, he may have totally different things to tell you when you have different goals later. So, yeah, that's interesting because that's not too much protein, but it may be for what you're trying to do, right?
Yeah, because I'm working out so much, I'm surprised he says that I'm still eating a lot of protein. But he definitely thinks that I don't have enough carb, and he says that my body is just, my metabolism is just stalled because I'm just working out too much and not having enough carbs.
Interesting, that Jeff Fry. Okay, fascinating. Okay, that's a whole other show that we're going to have you back for, okay, Heron?
Oh, when I make progress.
Okay, I'm sorry. Howie, you're legend. Please tell us about yourself for those that might not know.
Well, I'm Howie Broyles, and I live in Central Ohio. And
go Bucks!
Yep. And also go Redskins. I wore that just for you Texas people tonight.
Oh, he wore a Redskins cap. We'll forgive you. Keep going.
And I don't follow the same that most of you guys do. I'm a calorie counter from way back. And I've lost, at one point I'd lost 245 pounds doing that, but I've put a little bit back on. And I'm
you lost 245 pounds.
Yes.
Right? That's not, oh my God.
And I'm currently at 196 lost, but it's kind of a back and forth battle.
Well, yeah, I can imagine 200 pounds to be down right now is fantastic. But I follow you, and I follow your Shrinking the H-Man blog, and we'll make sure that we have links to that as well. And I know, you're just relentless. You're constantly at it and constantly trying to reinvent, how you do this. And I respect your calorie counting, man. It's been working for you, and you seem to have a good eye on like a balanced diet, because we talked about like that DASH stuff and stuff that you had tried before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I still follow the DASH diet pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's also the American Heart Association guidelines. It's just, try to eat healthy foods, eat a low-fat diet, although I don't watch that as much as some do.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm probably usually around 80 to 90 grams of fat a day.
Yeah. And you're not scared of that.
No.
Yeah, that's the problem, I think, is when people are scared of the healthy fats. And so, but all that how much, that's so unique anyway, I feel like, that, we shouldn't bash other people's things. I think it's all just motivation to try to figure it out for yourself. Well, kudos.
I've just always been good with numbers, and the counting calories seem to work best for me. And if you count the calories, the rest of it just kind of falls in place. So.
Right, if you're being sensible. That's pretty cool. That's pretty good. Well, thank you, Howie, and thank you for introing us. And thank you, big, ginormous thank you for doing and tracking the challenge that we're going to explain in a second. So it was a lot of work. That was a lot of work. Big thank you for that. All right, we're up to John. Hammer Jammer, right?
That's correct.
Tell us.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you great, and we want to know what that means, Hammer Jammer.
Okay, well, let me take you a little bit further back in time.
Okay.
From about the age of 6, there's only one occupation I ever wanted to have, and that was to be a soldier.
Nice.
Okay, so I joined the Army when I was 17. Vietnam was going on. Actually, after infantry and airborne school and a couple of other schools, I ended up going to Korea thinking, well, okay, I dodged that bullet. But they come and snatched me out of Korea for a mission that ended up in Vietnam. So I ended up spending 93 days in Vietnam in 1973, just before it was all over. And went back to Korea and then back to the States and got hurt on a jump. Spent about 19 months in Walter Reed learning how to walk. Army, but they told me I couldn't go jump out of airplanes anymore and do my infantry stuff, so they handed me a big book with all the jobs in the Army in it, and the first one I opened to was air traffic control. Really? And they had a picture in this book of a big shelter on the back of a truck with antennas hanging out of it. And for an old infantry guy, that kind of several things occurred to me at once. One is that they're not going to have to walk anywhere. Two, that they're probably going to drag a tent with them, so no more sleeping in mud puddles. And if they're going to run radios, they got to have power, so I'm going to have coffee every day. So I said, I want that one. And did 17 years in Army Air Traffic Control.
Wow.
I retired in 1994, and during that time, I went to the Army Master Fitness course. But fitness training in the Army is not anything even close to what fitness training is for health. Fitness training in the Army is about performing a mission and accomplishing missions. And basically, after 22 years in the Army, just about everybody that's done that comes out pretty well metabolically broke, along with other physical injuries. I've got just arthritis in my knees, my back, and my neck, and they're limiting. I can't run anymore. But the docs had never said I couldn't walk, and they never told me I couldn't walk as fast as I wanted to.
Nice.
So, and they never stopped me from humping my ruck, so I can still carry a load, although I don't carry 65 and 70 pound loads anymore. But I like to walk, and I like challenging walks.
Uh-huh.
I do Tabata walks that actually are faster than some people jog.
Really?
So,
And
I've
you're
passed them.
you're doing a challenge that's coming up, aren't you?
That's coming up Saturday, yeah. It's going to be a 15-mile rucksack march. And
that means you're carrying a load with you for 15 miles?
Yeah, in a backpack, yeah.
Oh, good
15
night.
miles, yeah.
Good night,
So,
Sean.
And the Hammer Jammer comes. I retired from the Army in '94, worked for the post office for 9 years carrying the mail. I had a route that was an 11-mile walk every day. And I was in my element there. But when the Iraq, my last thing in the Army before I retired was the Gulf War, and then I did a couple years here at Fort Stewart. And I wrote letters during the Gulf War that said, "Hey, we're going to have to come back." Okay, I said, I've got copies of them that are dated 1991. Is we didn't get this guy, we're going to have to come back.
Wow.
So when we did, my wife Zena, after about a year of the Iraq War going on, she sat me down one day and she said, "Top, she said, you got to go." I said, "Well, what you talking about?" You know, she said, "You got to go find you something to do because it's killing me to stay home." Okay. So I said, "Oh, okay." And another retired first sergeant friend of mine worked for the state of Georgia Labor Department. So I called him and he said, "Yeah, they're doing a hiring fair. Take your resume." Well, I got offered 5 different jobs.
That's
And
great.
the last one that they offered me, sort of as an aside, was, "Oh yeah, morale, welfare, and recreation, if you want to do that." And I said, "Let me think about it." Okay, I thought about it. Let's do the morale, welfare, and recreation, because that's, for an old first sergeant, to get a chance to go put a smile on troops' face is just, you know, there is no better thing.
That's fantastic.
So I spent 5 years doing that, and about 3 years into it, well, 2.5 years into it, I was working at Fob Falcon, which is south side of Baghdad, and they literally blew up our camp one night.
Good night.
Yeah, and it's on YouTube. You can look that up if you search Fob Falcon ammo dump. You'll see what happened that night. Anyway, by noon the next day, all I had was the clothes on my back, my quarters, everything I owned over in Iraq had burned up.
Oh, no.
And we had to rebuild that camp. And once we got that rebuilt, and my supervisor, I had been telling them I wanted to build camps for most of the time I was there, and they said, "Well, they're building a new one out east of Baghdad. It's called Fob Hammer." And I said, "I got it. They can send me." So I got there and virtually ended up helping construct and then filling up a 800 square foot fitness facility.
Yeah.
We operated 24/7. We had a 13,000 square foot recreation center tent. And we had a 80 station internet cafe.
Good night.
And I would have to brief the commanders every week on the events and the programs we had going on and attendance and things like that. And in the middle, the 3rd Brigade, the 3rd Infantry Division are called the Sledgehammer Brigade. So after they finish their briefing, they go Sledgehammer. And then the next battalion would say Eagles. And so my little theme song over there that I've been going around Fob to Fob with was Bob Marley. You know, "It's a long life and we're jamming." And so I would finish when I get done with my briefing, I would say, "We be jamming." Okay.
Okay.
And about 3 months after I was working there, they came back and said, "We've got to change the call signs," because I was something like Vagabond 2 or 3 or something like that. And they said, "It's got to have Hammer in your call sign." Okay. And I said, "Well, then we're the Hammer Jam."
That's so great. So that's where it came from.
That's where that name came from, Hammer Jammer 1. And when I came back, when I started doing internet stuff and writing stuff, I actually started writing on hub pages. I said, well, I'm going to use Hammer Jammer 1 because I got several thousand troops around the world that know that name, so I've just used that handle for everything on the internet.
Well, that's fantastic. And I do, before I forget, I want to thank you for your service because you've served our country quite a bit.
Well, and I'll tell you, Carol, okay, it's folks like you, you're worth it.
Oh, that made me cry when you wrote that day. You posted that one time, and it made my day. I mean, because we are so indebted. So for you to say something like that, I really appreciate you saying that. And
well,
anybody that serves, thank you, bless you. Anybody that serves one day is just such a hero. And so all the service that you've given, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And, we're big fans here at the Firearms Radio Network of all of our servicemen and women. So thank you for that. And you're just a voice out there on the MyFitnessPal community. You have so many friends, and in our community, and every day, all the inspiration, and on your Facebook page. I know we're Facebook friends now, and all of that. You're just a great story and a great inspiration for us. So thank you for all that. Cheers. Yeah.
I've been blessed.
Well, thanks. Okay.
For those who are, Carol, for those who are watching later, I was not trying to clown around while John was.
Yes, you were. You had a clown head on you, Howie. You put a clown head on.
He said he liked coffee, so I was looking at the effects to see if there was a coffee cup, and somehow I ended up with a clown head on myself.
Well, everybody, we're on Google Hangouts, so this right now I'm recording through the Firearms Radio Network.
It's 10:45.
Okay, there's your coffee cup.
There's my hot cup.
And you can go watch us. It's live Wednesday night, September 3rd, and this will go out a few days later. And you can always go back to the Firearms Radio Network's Google Plus page or the FatToFitHQ.com/YouTube. I try to copy them over there. But yeah, we can all see each other via video. And you've got Google effects, which I could have a halo or some wings. And now he had a clown head for a little while. But that's all right. We like it. All right, Mark, can you? We've got two Marks. Let's start with Mark C. Because you know I'm a butcher. Your last name. Tell us about yourself, Mark.
Well, I just realized that the other Mark, I don't see him on there anywhere.
Oh,
so
no,
anyway,
he might have dropped
my
out.
name's Mark Cronenwet, and yeah, I think he did. So, so I'm Mark Cronenwet, and I live out in the sticks in Montana. And when I say I'm out in the sticks, I am out in the sticks. This is coming to you from a microwave link, and I'm off-grid, so it's all battery power.
Wow.
Which is why my link is low. So, so I post all those funny things about, running into the raccoons and the skunks and the, the bears and all that kind of stuff. And yes, that's our life out here.
Oh. That's so great. So, yeah, you trade off a little bit of technology, but you have an awesome life.
Yeah, when I'm here. When I'm not traveling.
So you're traveling a lot for work and stuff, Mark?
Actually, I don't travel that much now, much to my family's not necessarily very happy about it because I'm not gone for my kids and whatnot. For about 15, 16 years, I was home about a day and a half a week, so 4 days a month, roughly 4, 5, 6 days a month. So I was gone all the time. And for the last 3.5 years, I work here at home now.
Nice.
And so I'm here all the time. I do get calls on short notice where I can leave and be gone for sometimes it's a couple days, sometimes it can be weeks. I don't know how long I'll be gone, but they don't happen very often anymore.
So we need to ask you
I'm home
about
all the time. And
we could ask you about the traveling. Yeah.
You need to ask me about what?
Well, the traveling, the nutrition and stuff while you're traveling. I know you posted stuff about it in MyFitnessPal, but you must be an expert by now.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm an expert at it, but I definitely learned what I should and should not do. And for the most part, I avoided anything that would be a restaurant because I'm a seafood eater. So if it's on the plate and I ordered it, I'm going to eat it.
Yeah.
And so I learned to pretty much it was you can figure it's Quiznos salads.
Uh-huh.
Subway, usually, or oh gads, like either like Qdoba or what's the other one? I can't think of the other one. That's like that. The burrito place or whatever, and get the bowls, the rice, the beans,
Chipotle.
And pretty much Chipotle. Thank you. Yeah. So usually I found between pretty much everywhere I went, I could find one of those or Jimmy John's, and get the unwitches.
Yeah.
Because I follow my whole family. My whole family, yeah, they will do those, and some are better than others. We have one actually up here in Great Falls. It's the gal that does it folds them so good they're like a little pocket.
Nice.
And the lettuce holds everything together. I've never had anyone do it as good as she does, but. Yeah, my whole family does. We pretty much follow paleo. My whole family does it now, and whatnot. So we cheat a little bit because we do have milk and cheese and whatnot. But we do make our own cheese and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to use it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's pretty fantastic, Mark. That's very cool. Each one of you guys has to be your own show. We have to come back.
And now you can get the other Mark.
Yes, he's back. Mark McElveen. But thank you, Mark. Thanks for all that. That's interesting. And I think it's great that people are hearing more about y'all because us and other people who have been in the chat rooms know a lot of this or know at least some of this, but a lot of the listeners don't. So it's kind of cool to put a face or a voice at least to some of you guys. Hey, Mark McElveen, can you hear me?
I can hear you. All right, am I with you?
You're with us. We can hear you. So
okay, I cut my video because I'm having internet issues. So
that's okay. I like your pistol speaking. It's very cool. It's very cool to have that gun talking at me. Hey, you're an FRN guy. You're on the Firearms Radio Network. You write reviews for us on the Firearms Insider, right?
I do. Haven't done anything for a while, but yeah, I was doing that, and I also edit the AR-15 podcast.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool show. So is that how you found out about us, about Fat to Fit?
Partially. I'd listened to all the podcasts and ran across y'all, and I kind of avoided it for a while because
everybody says that.
Well, it's kind of one of those things you don't want to admit that you're in need, I guess.
I admit it every day for so long, but yeah, I know what you mean. It's nicer not to have to deal with it sometimes. Hang on, because Heron's making all kinds of noise over there.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Are you settled, girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay, so Mark, and I'm teasing you here. Mark, tell us a little bit about your journey. Give us some background and a little bit.
Well, I've been having low 200s weight-wise, and I never thought I was really overweight, so to speak. But I could tell that I was getting out of shape as I got older. I'm turning 50 this year.
Wow! Congrats.
Oh yeah, congrats. I got 3 kids over 20, and I got an 11-year-old. So anyway, we I've had health issues, the blood sugar and high blood pressure, and I got diagnosed with lupus a couple of years ago, and so I'm taking all this medication, and I'm thinking, I got to be able to do something to try and get off some of this medication. Because I have a thing about taking pills. So anyway, I started listening and heard a few of the shows, and the paleo shows up, and so I look into it, and I'm not into following trends and fads and whatever, I don't jump on bandwagons, but in looking at it, the whole eating naturally thing interested me,
Right.
because that's what really in my mind makes the most sense, because that's the way God created us to eat. So that's what I try and do. I mean, we raise rabbits, and so we raise our own pigs and a cow occasionally, and we try to garden. We have an aquaponics greenhouse.
Good night.
So we try and do all that stuff.
You need to do this show.
Anyway,
I'm not even close to any of that. That's fantastic.
busy.
Well, that's cool.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
That's very cool. So, did any of you guys listen to the very early episodes, the early days with Jake and Zach?
Before it was Fat to Fit headquarters?
No, I think they called it Fat to Fit HQ, but because they gave it the name. Maybe used to.
It was Fat to Fit, but not with the headquarters.
I think that one's still out there, and I think that's why Zach named it HQ, was just because there was already a Fat to Fit out there, and he really liked that name. So, but it's been like what, we're at 100. This is episode 103, and for people who are looking for the show notes and looking for the video too, you can find it at fat2fithq.com/103. And so we've done 103 episodes, and so episode 1 was a couple of years ago. I guess we're coming up on 2 years, or have we? Yeah, we're over.
2 years next week.
Yeah, is it more though? I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
You missed some.
We missed some because like now I'm it's not once a week, because now I'm every other week, and there was a hiatus. The guys took a little bit here and there, a couple. They would go 2 or 3 weeks sometimes without putting one out, and so we're not exactly a weekly show. But we were for a long time. I think I kept it a weekly show for about a year. But anyway, I think it was in March of 2012 that these guys started the show, and they were gun guys, and they had a very popular podcast called Gun Guy Radio, and the Firearms Network was just getting off the ground. So Jake, who was the president of that new network, he was one of the original gun guys from Gun Guy Radio, him and Zach. But Zach wanted to lose some weight, and he knew how to podcast, so he just did this little side show. And a lot of us ran across it while we were looking for gurus out there. And these guys were not gurus. But they were funny, and they were real, and it was so enjoyable to me to follow their journey. So I didn't know if any of you guys had listened to when it was just the two of them.
No.
Before I ever came on the show, Mia, do yourself a favor. If you ever need some good listening, you can go. And I had somebody write me today that they started, because you can go to our website at fat2fithq.com, and if you type that into your browser, fat2fithq.com/001, the first episode, then show notes and the show will pop up, or you can scroll back through. And then you put 002, and you'll get the second episode, 003. And he asked, how do I get these into iTunes? Because after a while, they fall out of iTunes, and he really wants them on his device in iTunes. And Jake had told us a while back, I think there's on our website, when you open the show notes, there's a place to download it, and right above where the player is for the audio at the top. And so I explained to him, you just download that, and it'll go into your device, into iTunes. And so, but he said, I've listened to every episode from the beginning, and I'm stuck on episode 54, and I don't want to go forward until I hear this episode. And I think that might have been before me. I'm not sure. But no, I didn't join the show until it was already a year or so, almost a year, actually, because at the 1 year anniversary, all three of us were doing the show. We were 3 hosts. And yeah, so it's very cool that you guys are, like came in midstream and just started listening and just started following along, because it's not just my journey, it's all these people's journeys now, within MyFitnessPal and even some Spark People folks and Facebook and stuff. And that's what's real special about you guys is we decided to have this challenge because the check-ins on MyFitnessPal, we now have a MyFitnessPal community, a Fat to Fit community, and I'll put that link. That link's always in the show notes. And you can go in there and immediately friend a whole bunch of people, because if they are in the Fat to Fit community, a lot of times they like to have more friends. So you can join the Fat to Fit group and then start posting to the walls, or just start reading, or just start tracking, or don't start tracking, just go for motivation, whatever you want to do. So we did this challenge for August, who would check in every single day, and Howie was awesome enough to open the threads and track it for us. And you guys, that's what I'm saying, I shouldn't be on this show because I only checked in 22 days. But
I think I only opened the original thread. I think Mark did the rest of them.
Oh, is that right? Really? Well, y'all, if somebody was just like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this because I'm ready to post today. Well, that's cool. There was a new thread each week.
Well, I did
and you guys
fumble
checked
that
in
one
every
last one
single
really
day. It's no big deal. It's just a couple days, Mark. But all you guys still checked in every single day. Somebody tell me, I mean, did that make any difference for you? I also, before we move on, I want to say that Ray, and I don't know if I have permission to say her last name, Ray and also Kim were also winners, but they both had things come up that they couldn't join us, and so they sent some words that I'll read in a little bit. But we want to congratulate them as well, and everybody, people like Stacy Knickerbocker who only missed 2 days, and a lot of people were amazing with how often they were checking in and just telling us what's going on with them. Tell us what that experience was like. Anybody?
Well, for me, it's just fun and to hear how other people are struggling, because sometimes you think you're the only one, and no, you're not. Everybody is going through it, and there's ups and there's downs, and it's just nice to share and connect with other people, you know.
It really was, because I would be having the worst day, and if I would check in and read what was going on with y'all's day, a lot of times, even if somebody was having a hard day, they'd say, but come on, it's fine, we're having a good time here, at least we have this, or there was always inspiration there.
Yeah, that's what I like about it, and also it makes me accountable for some stuff too, so like I was like, oh, I really don't want to go work out, but I should, so I have something to write.
So I can tell them that I did.
I said, yes, I punched a guy, woo! Yeah, by the way, I kicked this kid in his balls today, and I feel so awful.
Tell us what that is. What is your crazy
Not as
workout?
bad as he does.
Yeah, he still feels bad, Aaron.
Oh, we would. I do Muay Thai, is Thai kickboxing, and it was a small class today, so the teacher said, okay, it's a small class, it's safe enough. You guys are all pretty good, so let me teach you this body shot. So you're supposed to kick your partner in his stomach area with the balls of your feet. So after a while, I got tired and I got sloppy, and I wasn't really looking or paying attention, and I didn't kick his stomach. I kicked his balls. And he dropped like he just dropped. And I remember saying, but I didn't even kick that hard.
He doesn't think so.
Yeah, that's what my instructor. Yeah, he says that you don't have to kick hard, and we just stand there, just let him recover, because there's nothing we can do. Just
Aaron.
wait him out. But he was fine. And
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
He's probably listening to this podcast going, no, I'm not.
Then the instructor said that, oh, I forgot. So this is how a guy should hold the block. So, one hand should protect the family jewels.
He showed them after your death kick.
It's like, oh, I forgot. It's like nobody has kicked somebody in the balls for a while, so I forgot. I'm like,
There you go. There you go. That's nice. Well, you're awesome with all those workouts that you were posting and telling us how you were getting stronger. And, at first you were, felt a little awkward around all those guys and stuff. So it's pretty cool to get to hear different kinds of workouts and different things that people were doing. I thought was pretty cool.
I love it. It doesn't feel like a workout, so.
Oh, that's good. That's good. It was exposing people to stuff like that. Did anybody ever not want to check in or find that it was trouble or it was you almost missed it or anything like that?
I had a couple.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I had a couple days where I almost missed it, but that's primarily due to my schedule. I mean, I have a 2-hour drive each way to work.
Oh.
So I leave the house at 9 in the morning and I get back about 11 at night. So if I don't get the post done in the morning, then my window's pretty short at night.
Wow. And John, your posts are always so long and thoughtful, and I'm always floored by how much you know about macros and body composition and all of that. They're very, very interesting posts.
Well,
and to think you're doing those quickly before you run out to work, that's kind of crazy.
Well, a big part of the Army Master Fitness course was nutrition training. It was primarily kinesiology and nutrition, but it was old science nutrition. Okay, so
yeah,
as my when I started losing weight, I set up my diet. I didn't go to any program when I started in January of 2011. I designed my diet using what I already knew, and with
you're cutting out real quick. You said using what you already knew and what?
And basically, my design was I made lists, Post-it notes all over my house of foods I know I like. Okay? And then and I went and on the internet went and looked up the food labels for them. Okay, and said, well, okay. And I did the math. I could eat at the time. I was 357 pounds.
Oh my!
I started in January 2011. So I could eat 4,500 calories a day and stay at 357 pounds.
Wow.
Or I could drop down to 3,000, 3,200 calories a day and lose a ton of weight and then sort out the rest of the pieces after that got done. So that's basically how I lost my first 70 pounds.
Wow.
Was just going through my list and saying, no more macaroni and cheese, and macaroni, cheese, and Spam has just been an all-time favorite food of mine.
I know.
So and I was doing like an 80-20 approach during that first year. Okay, whereas I would still have my macaroni, cheese, and Spam on the weekends.
Okay.
I treated my diet just like I did work. Monday through Friday, I'm going to focus on eating foods that are healthier for me. Okay, and foods that I like. Now, fortunately, I like my veggies. Okay,
good.
And it just never bothered me to stop eating potatoes and stuff like that. So, I veggies and meat, and filled in with whole grains and what have you. But about 14 months into it is when I started developing some really horrendous kidney stones, and that kind of put everything into a hover for 2 years, actually.
Do you think
two kidney surgeries to remove stones and one to remove a cancerous tumor? So it's just this last April is when I was recovered enough from all those surgeries to where I could start really sort of focusing again.
And you feel pretty good now? Everything's good?
Oh, yeah, I feel great. I mean, I'm hitting 60 in November.
And
for the first time on a decade birthday, I can see, I really think like maybe I'm only halfway done.
That's
Okay.
fantastic.
You know, that's you know, in my 20s and 30s and 40s, I couldn't imagine me actually surviving
Oh my
past
God.
my next 0 birthday.
Yeah,
And
you've had a lot. You've
you
had
know, but when I was in my 50s, I wasn't sure. You know, when I came back from Iraq, I is when I gained a lot of weight,
wow.
and that was kind of a head thing, really. Xena, while we were over there, I'd lost my youngest son while I
Oh,
was over there, and you know, I pretty much spent the first year I was home sleeping and eating and not doing much else. But that's the job up at the hospital, though, is what saved me, because
wow.
it gave me some incentives.
Well, that's
And,
good because you've saved a lot of people too. I know. So.
well, I work in geriatrics, the Alzheimer's, palliative care, hospice. We don't save people. Okay.
Yeah.
The
No, I
reality
mean over
is,
your life.
in
Yes,
100
yes,
in
you're helping
150
them.
patient in a 150 patient hospital that's primarily geriatrics and stuff, we're losing 1 or 2 every week.
That's tough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some weeks are tougher than others.
Yeah, I
But
bet.
they're going home. If I have anything to do about it, they're going home with a smile.
That's good.
Okay?
That's
And
so nice.
that's what I do. Okay,
That's
I get
fantastic.
paid to do my hobbies with 300 of my best friends.
That's so nice. Don't you work with the wheelchair athletes as well,
Yeah.
John?
That's I do strength and conditioning with them
That's fantastic.
in our little fitness center. I run our fitness center as well. But
Well, that's good. And they did well in some competitions.
oh yeah,
Olympics
I don't
recently.
have the medal count, but we sent 9 athletes, and everyone won at least a medal.
That's great.
We had several that won multiple medals.
What an
and
inspiration.
A couple of them, had they listened to what I told them before they left, they would have won more medals.
No, that's
So,
great. They're just getting out there. That's so
Yeah.
great.
So,
Well, somebody else was going to say something about it being tough to check in once in a while. John, though, did you think that even though it was tough checking in some of those days, did you find it worthwhile?
oh,
Did you find it
absolutely. I absolutely. For you know, for me, I'm at a stage where I'm pretty happy where I am, although changing my body composition is still something that I have no timelines or anything like that, but it's a great interest and a great psychological benefit for me to look at what other people are doing, and then maybe offer, you know, some encouragement and, you know, sometimes privately advice. You know, I praise in public and correct in private. So
That's a good philosophy. That is very motivating, is once you've found some success, if someone is asking to offer that, it's really a huge motivator for that person as well. So I can see that. That's great. Who else was saying that they had some trouble checking in sometimes?
I was going to say I almost missed, I think it was just one day I almost blew it. And I got on real late, and after that night, every day I'm like, oh no, did I forget to log in the next day?
What a difference a challenge makes, right? When you call it a challenge.
But I find there's two tools that I find the most useful for losing weight, and one of them is to find a form like that to be accountable to other people.
Yeah, I like
that. And the other is just writing down what you eat, everything that goes in.
Well, and MyFitnessPal kind of does both of those for us. Oops, sorry. But yeah, it gives you a place to write everything down. And that's the thing. We don't have to be calorie counters for that to be an effective, I feel like, an important thing. The whole writing it down, whether you're counting macros or whether you're counting calories or whether you're just being aware of what you're eating, I think it's helpful. Do all of you guys track in the MyFitnessPal tracker?
Yes.
I do.
I go back and check every now and then, and maybe for a few days I'll log in just
to calibrate.
Calibrate myself, yeah.
Right.
But like I said, I like my veggies, and veggies and meat are pretty much my diet. With mornings having eggs and bacon, so
Yeah.
I pretty well got it in my head of what the counts are anyway.
Cool. Very cool. How about you, Marks? Are you guys trackers?
I started tracking with MyFitnessPal,
I'm not.
I don't know, a few months ago.
Yeah, I'm not. Mark C says I'm not. But Mark McElvey, you are?
Well, okay.
Started-
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mark C. Tell us first, and then we'll come back, Mark McElvey. Mark C, tell us you don't or you do.
All right. Well, I at the beginning when I first started getting back into the whole paleo thing and all that kind of stuff, I did track it.
Uh-huh.
And that was mainly to get my diet set. And once I got the diet, I'm not a big various food eater. I
Okay.
typically eat the same stuff. So
Yeah.
once I got the diet set and what I was eating, I don't need to track it. I pretty much know what I'm eating.
Okay.
So
So
I
that
don't really have to. If I feel I'm getting out too far, then I'll go back and start tracking it. But for the most part, I don't do anything.
Well, that's pretty cool. So then you're just coming into MyFitnessPal for the community aspect? For
Yes,
the
actually, that is why I'm here. Yeah,
Wow.
it's for that. Yeah.
And how does that work for you? Like before this challenge, were you active on the site?
On no, yeah, no, I was a little bit. I was a little bit. I mean, I've been around posting for a couple. So a little bit, not a whole lot, but the challenge when you put it out there, and it was like, you know what, this will be good. I
Yeah.
can, force myself to make sure to do it. So it worked. I only had a problem on a couple of days, and that was because of the long days I was putting in for that match. And other than that, most of it's not too big deal because I work out early in the morning before work anyway. So I'd work out in the morning, and as soon as I get back, while I'm still cooling down, I go in and enter it. So for me, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Did you since you weren't somebody that was tracking or anything before, did the checking in with these other people and the rest of us, because I enjoyed following you. I enjoyed hearing about things in Montana and all your crazy animals and all that stuff. There was a skunk at one point. I remember a lot of,
There was a few skunks.
right? It was a crazy
Twice,
month.
not once.
Yeah, it was a crazy month.
Twice, 2 weeks apart.
It
They
was
eat dogs,
entertaining.
yes. Yeah.
But what about for you? Did you like checking in? Did it do anything for you?
Oh, I like to check in and read what other people are doing because it helps me because in like Aaron was saying, it's like you get caught up in what you're doing and this is terrible and horrible and everything else, and then you see that you're not the only one that's having trouble. Maybe that particular day or whatever, several days or whatever, and so it helps me a lot, and that's what I was looking for when I found the site and started participating in my own. And yes, I'm weird, and that's okay.
No,
But
I think
the
it's great.
so I enjoyed it,
That's great. That's great. I think that's wonderful because it can be totally different for different people. We can all be using a different, thing, creating our own diets, like John said, or just eating sensibly, or just trying to get more active, or any of that, or just trying to find other people doing the same thing. It doesn't have to be so miserable. It can be fun, even when you don't feel like doing it, but you're checking in with other people. To me, it's a game changer. I don't know. Mark McElvey, how did you come out with all this? How did checking in 31 days, what'd that do for you?
Well, kind of like the other Mark was saying, it gives me something. I like sharing with people, and I like hearing what other people have to say. And this whole diet thing, my wife helps me because she's my wife. But
Yeah, she has to.
well, but see, the problem is she's 5'5", 100 pounds.
Oh, I hate her. Go ahead. We all go ahead.
And she loves pasta, and so what she feeds. We make 2 different meals at night. We eat the same meat, and I get vegetables and stuff, and she gets her pasta and whatever she has. So
Mark, that's hard.
Well, not really. I don't care for pasta so much.
Good.
But I miss my bread. Bread and pasta are hard on me, so I've
yeah.
But with the diabetes, I've had to. What I've really focused on, the last couple of months is trying to find all the sugar that's in food.
Golly,
there is sugar in everything. Salad dressing.
You're not doing your own cooking. If you're letting somebody else cook it and put it in a box, it's got sugar in it.
Yeah,
I know.
Right.
But I'm talking like salad dressing.
Everything in the middle of the grocery store, like John's saying.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But like the non-dairy creamer, I didn't think it had sugar in it until I finally read the label, and I'm like, I drink coffee and I use non-dairy creamer. Now I use half and half.
Oh my gosh! And you know what?
Tell you what, that
the what?
I was going to talk about the what's that coffee? The fat coffee.
Bulletproof.
I forget the name of it.
Is it the bulletproof?
Yes. Yes, I love that stuff. I thought the first time I saw.
You should remember that name.
Yeah, that's true. My mind's not what it should be, but
that's hilarious. Yeah, and it was just about 2 episodes back when I was talking to JT, and I showed what I took on vacation, and I was all proud of my avocados and my fat bombs that I made, my coconut oil. And I pulled up the ranch dressing, and I was like, look, I bought these little cute things. I told everybody listening that I thought this was a great idea, this ranch dressing that I would take in little containers because it had so much fat, and I was trying to get higher fat. And, oh, my gosh. I mean, if you make your own, I think, out of Greek yogurt, depending who you listen to, that's probably okay. But, again, we're not experts over here. We're just trying things. But the vegetable oil, those vegetables is what I'm hearing now, that those oils that they make that ranch dressing with is just horrific for you. It's not the fat, it's not even the sugar in it, it's the fact that it's not a good type of fat. So heck, what do I know?
But
ranch
part of
dressing
mine
tastes good.
part of my problem is the diabetes. I'm trying to control my blood sugar,
So
and
it's all about sugar for you.
Well, not all about, but yeah, I have to watch it because now that I've gotten all that sugar stuff out of my diet,
yes,
I roll it about 100 all the time.
Goodness.
Yeah, I mean it's leveled off tremendously.
What do you mean you roll it about 100?
About 100 glucose readings.
Oh my gosh, that's very good.
Yeah, 100, 120.
Oh my gosh.
And I've dropped off one of my medications already.
See there, that's what it's about. I mean, you might have to go extreme, but some of the stuff that happens if you don't take care of it is pretty extreme.
Right.
So and you know what? I'm not a chef at all, but my mom's birthday was last week, and she's diabetic. And my sister put Carol, the one who cares about food and health, she put me in charge of the cake. And she said, Mom can't have a cake, right? You're going to bring the cake, but you can't really have cake. And I looked. Do you know there's like all kinds of sugar-free crap that, just like you're saying, John, in the middle of the grocery store, a sugar-free apple pie is a joke because it is that all that crust turns right to sugar in her system, and it's going to skyrocket her blood sugar.
Let me tell you something. The hospital solution in our wards, okay, and I mean we've got probably 60% of our patients are diabetic.
Yeah.
We got groups that bring in birthday cakes once a month, for ward birthday parties, and we don't restrict the patients.
Yeah.
We serve them cake, we serve them ice cream, we serve them Cheetos, we serve them soda, because we can turn around. If their blood sugar goes totally berserk, we got insulin.
Oh,
Okay?
gosh, though, I don't want that to be my solution.
The
And
quality of life, the behavioral quality of life is more important than dealing with a sugar spike.
well, but you know what? It
So,
depends because my mom is trying to control it, like Mark.
right.
She is trying to avoid so that it doesn't get worse. But you're right. For those guys that you have in there, it's a trade-off
Yeah.
because you have what you need for them right away.
Okay,
But
but see, now yesterday, I'm
uh,
at the fishing lodge. I went camping with my son, and we went into the lodge to have lunch because, well, we just did. So I had a bacon cheeseburger.
with the
It was
bun,
yes,
I'm just asking.
but right there on the counter, okay, this is like a, I don't know, rustic thing, and they had these homemade apple pie.
Yum.
Oh,
Mm.
That's
And
carb
but I had a piece.
Yeah.
But because I had been walking so much, we rode bikes 6-8 miles. I had that piece of cake with some ice cream,
Yeah.
and it barely spiked. My sugar did, because I'm so I'm better controlled now. I can
Right.
do that, and it
Yeah.
doesn't kill me.
Well, yeah,
I
I
just
get
don't
it.
do it every night.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's everybody's individual, and then depending what you've done that day, just like Jeff Fry was telling Heron, you might need more carbs for as active as you are. Everybody's different. You know what I found though, and I'm going to post the link to it because I cannot believe how fabulous it turned out. Was this low carb cheesecake, and I've never made a cheesecake, and I didn't have one of those springform pans or anything. I used just a regular glass pie plate. And my mom could not believe that it was not a very sugary thing. I used that sucralose that Jeff Fry told me to order over the internet, and I can put the link for that also because it's the same stuff. I know it's an artificial sweetener, and that has its own issues, but if you're going to use something like Splenda, it has a couple of different ingredients, and sucralose is one of them. And so why have all that other stuff? You can order just the sucralose, and it's way, way sweet. So you need like a dusting of it in your coffee. You need hardly any. So I just took cream cheese, sour cream, a few eggs. It had you put a little vanilla and lemon juice and mix it all up with that sucralose or whatever artificial sweetener you wanted. And that was the filling. And the crust, we even had a crust that was it was almonds crushed up with butter, and you bake that a little bit, you press it like one of those graham cracker type crust, but this was with almond meal, and they loved it. I mean, we sliced strawberries and put that on the top, and we didn't do the strawberry glaze, but people loved it. Nobody really knew that wasn't a real cheesecake. And even my mom was like, no, I can't have too much of that. I was like, yeah, you can. All it is cream cheese. And I mean, it's a ton of calories, but that's not her concern right now. It's the sugar for her.
that's the perfect fat bomb, by the way.
Oh my gosh. What, the cream cheese?
Yeah, the low carb cheesecake. I've made that a couple of times, and I think I use the same recipe as you. It is really good.
It is too good. Like I could have gotten a lot of trouble with that just because at some point you can't just keep eating.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. If you look at my FitnessPal diary, the past, I was like, oh,
4,000
like three.
calorie day.
I
Calories.
ate like 3 slices the past couple of nights.
Well, it was fantastic. We even made our own whipped cream with heavy cream and a little of that sucralose, and it was crazy good. So I don't know, but it's just like John said. I'm not a chef, and I don't like cooking. But if I want something without the sugar, Mark, like you said, everything has sugar when somebody else makes it. Crazy things that you wouldn't think are even sweet. Why does this have sugar? High fructose corn syrup, even not even sugar. Everything has high fructose corn syrup. Crazy. All right. Well, I just wanted to get you guys together. We're already kind of going on an hour here. I just been talking, but I think it would be good to get some of you guys back if you're agreeable to do like a one-on-one show to get a little more into your stories. But I was looking forward to this because people out there who haven't used MyFitnessPal or think maybe they just need to track, or maybe they need to calorie count, or maybe they need to know about macros. You don't need to know any of that. I mean, you can go in and just look around. I know we're doing this whole commercial for MyFitnessPal. That's not my intent.
Well, it's a great tool.
It
Well,
is.
plus I think it's about community because we get so separated with our lives
Yeah.
and the people around us. You don't have time always to go to the gym and hang out with your buddy, and so it helps. You can kind of do your own thing but still be held accountable,
Right.
or have somebody yell at you for, hey, where have you been, or whatever.
Yeah, and I'll yell at you, of course. It is cool because friends will always motivate you if you let them. And that's the cool thing. Jack keeps saying that every time he comes back on the show, is that we've stumbled on something pretty special, because there's a ton. I mean, you guys are very few compared to how many people out there we've friended and are in this big community. And at any time, you can fall off the wagon and be gone for weeks and come back, and everybody's still there. 90% of them at least are there. A good chunk of people who will be excited, even if you don't know anybody else. I always tell people, I'll friend you, of course, but definitely go over to the Fat to Fit community, because you guys are amazing and really helping me. I need it right now. I also want to.
Well, see, I ended up with a.
Go ahead.
Oh,
What?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What?
Oh, I was just saying I got a new phone about a month ago, and I got a Fitbit with it.
Uh-oh.
And so I've been playing with that, but the only person I had that I haven't figured out how to friend people with Fitbit.
Yeah, look for me.
The only place Jake was a friend for the
Jake,
first
yeah.
month. Yeah, and I was catching up with him, and I kind of prodded him a few times, and he quit using it August 1st.
He wrote me a note like, "What's wrong? Did you unfriend me?" I was like, "No, I lost my Fitbit."
Oh, he lost it.
No, I did.
Yeah.
So that was a while back, but I'm getting a new one. But there is, in our show notes for people out there too, Fitbit. There's a Fitbit group.
Yeah.
And you can link through and join the Fat to Fit Fitbit community if that competing for steps is something that interests you. There's a cost associated with Fitbit. There's no cost for MyFitnessPal, and it is a great tool, John. You're right. There's so many different things you can get out of it. The Fitbit is pretty fun too. I just let it obsess my life. Do any one of you guys have a Fitbit besides Mark?
I have one.
Did you? Do you like it?
Oh, I still have. I use it every day.
Yeah.
In fact, what I did was my bracelet. The bracelet wore out.
Oh.
So that was like 6 months ago. Just in my sock, and just rides in my sock and counts the steps that way.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Dion Denton, a guy named Dion Denton, who lost an incredible amount of weight after he did just a little bet with his friends, and he did it with that Fitbit, just making sure his activity. He owns a pizza parlor, his family. Okay, if he can do it.
I listened to that podcast. I don't know how you could lose weight owning a pizza place.
And it's one of the best places in Huntsville, Alabama. I need to remember the name of it and shout out to him, because that was just amazing. I think it's Big Al's or Big Ed's Pizza, I think. But Dion was really funny, and he got us turned on to using a Fitbit. If you're a competitive person, it absolutely could help you. I do want to read some. Sorry, I'm making sure that that's the right name of that pizza restaurant. I think it is Huntsville, Alabama. Okay, I'm gonna read some feedback from Ray, from Kim Walls. She's Beer Bite Girl. Y'all know Beer Bike Girl. She's awesome, and she's been active for a real long time, and she couldn't come but tonight because she has a class, but she did want to say a couple of things about what it did for her, for folks out there that are listening. She said, most importantly, the group of people are truly inspiring. The amount of weight they've lost and their sane adherence to it as a lifestyle is something I needed, both from the aspect of not getting discouraged, riding bumps, and finding what works for them, but also yes, it is long-term sustainable. Secondly, the checking in became a habit and surprisingly enjoyable part of my day. It's nice to have like-minded people, even if they are in the cyber world, as there really isn't such in my real life. Yeah, there's plenty of folks who talk the calories in, calories out, eat less, move more game around me. Most talk it like I did while actually gaining weight year in and year out like I did. Or get super strict, lose a ton of weight, stall, and then go totally off the rails and gain it. I've been all this back like I did. She said 65 pounds she lost in 1998, 90 pounds lost by 2008, down 80 pounds by 2010, up 40 by 2012. So she had to break that in herself. She said the podcast I've discovered from yours, which I discovered because Kiefer was on it, keep me sane, inspired, and on track. So thanks. The challenge was another piece in my N=1 experiment, and a good one. So I know that was kind of long, but I thought it was really important because Kim is obviously it's an example of, you know, she wasn't going to check in every day had we not had the challenge, but she did, and surprisingly it was an enjoyable part of her day. But she found you guys and the other people who were also checking in a lot. We had a lot of other people, and kudos to everybody. They inspired her, and I know they inspired me, and I talk about it all the time. So I just wanted to say that and tell Kim, great job, because I know she's on an awesome track right now from following all her DEXA levels and everything that she's gotten done recently. That I just think it's important for people to know.
What is the DEXA level?
Heron, can you talk to that a little bit? I know you know.
It's a low-dose X-ray that they scan bone density and fat, like where the specific fat is, like left arm, right arm, visceral fat, left thigh, right thigh, you know, torso, and well, for women especially, the bone density, I think that's important to know. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's what the report and the printout will tell you. It basically tell you, you know, where you're accumulating fat the most, which I can see in the mirror, you know, is on my thighs, but
yeah, but then
the DEXA tells you the exact percentage. So.
Yeah, because we like to think if we've been working out a little bit with some weights, maybe this weight I'm gaining is muscle mass or heavy, you know, that thing doesn't lie, they say, and that was one of the things Kim was saying. Or
people who has fat in their liver, like they really want the fat around the abdominal to go down more than anything. So.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, here is, I don't know. Here in California is relatively affordable. It's like $80 a scan. I mean, it's not that bad. So I don't know how much is it everywhere else.
But can't find one down here in Savannah, Georgia.
Right. You California people, Aaron, you got it made out there with all your advancements.
They have it at the university. If you look at the kinesiology department.
Oh, okay.
They usually.
I don't know if I want to know.
I know, like I said, I can look at the mirror and say, oh, yeah, I know. I know exactly where the fat is accumulated.
Well, thank you. And hey, Howie, I think you put Big Ed's Pizza in the show notes here real quick, so I'll put that at the show notes too. Oh, and I did want to say one more time that today's show notes are at fat2fithq.com/103. And you can find the video and everything there. And, of course, we're in iTunes. And please leave us an iTunes review if you have a chance. That really helps the show. That's funny that we're putting a link to a pizza place. What health show does that? That's kind of different.
Everything in moderation.
There you go. There you go. I did want to put out there again that Jack and I are doing the Tough Mudder in Dallas. And we talk about these Tough Mudders a lot, but I think it's just going to be me and Jack. Because by the time we made up our minds and really put our money down, you know, when you get close to the race, I mean, this race was like $75, $80 last year if we would have done it 6 months in advance. But now that we're promoting it, it's like $200 to run this race. I don't think we're going to get a lot of people to run it with us. So we are still doing it if anybody wants to do it. And then, of course, we have the run the next week. That's October 4th in Dallas. Or if you want to come meet up with us, please email me, carol@fat2fithq.com. We're going to be posting on our Facebook page. We're going to have a meetup somewhere in Dallas or South Dallas Friday night, October 3rd. But October 4th, and I know we have a couple of FRN guys. None of y'all are in the Dallas area, right?
No.
Bummer.
No.
Bummer. But Mark McElvey, Reed and Steve Remy and those guys are. They might come out for a drink Friday night. I know there's a couple of other FRN guys, Michael and Gene, who are coming, who help out. Anyway, we're going to do a meetup on October 3rd. We just don't know where yet. But I will post that. And then the very next weekend in Galveston, Texas, we're doing the Gritty Goddess. So anybody who wants to do an intro run with us or have your kids run with us, that would be fantastic. And then in Florida, Lisa Jarman is doing the Central Florida Tough Mudder in November, on November 8th. You guys have any runs? I know John told us about a run he has coming up. Do you guys have anything? What's that, Mark?
I said I thought it makes me wish I still lived in Texas.
You can make a trip down. You can
I'm up in Missouri now.
That's all right.
I know.
Now, next April, I'm going to do
Time
my
and
first
money.
Warrior Dash up in North Georgia, April 15th.
For your 60th?
Yeah, and I'm going to do a Warrior Dash. I'm going to do a Warrior Dash every 5 years until I'm dead.
God, that's great. That is a great goal. That'll be so fun. And where are you going to do it, John?
It's in North Georgia. I can't remember the name of the town. It's up near Stone Mountain. It's really very accessible. Interstate's available. It's just north of Atlanta.
And you were inviting people to come join you, right?
Well, I was inviting people to come join me this weekend.
Oh, that's
this weekend. This is down in Savannah, which is other end of the state.
Okay.
But yeah, for Savannah, I got a 2,000 square foot house, and I'm the only one in it. So,
with accommodations.
You get here, you sleep and eat for free. So
that's Portlandia. That's so cool. All right. Well, that's pretty generous. But unfortunately, the podcast is going to go out right about the time you're running.
Yeah. Well,
walking.
I'll be walking. Yeah.
Walking and carrying.
Yeah.
So we're going to be thinking about you.
Walking up. The good old days.
I'm still going to be checking in on my Fitness Pal. Any of you guys still going to check in and the threads and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll be there.
All right. So we'll keep our weekly threads, and people can check in and see what's going on. I love it.
Cool.
Well, thank you, guys. First of all, thanks for listening, and thanks for being part of the community, because it's really grown beyond just a podcast, and that's because of folks like y'all. So thank you, everybody.
Well, keep it up, Carol. You're doing good.
Thank you. That's y'all doing good too. And thanks for checking in all that time. And I'll be contacting you guys because I feel shows coming on. We only got a taste of each one of you. And I know people would like to know more. And if you do want to hear more, are you guys open to my Fitness Pal friends if they want to come in and friend you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I'll put in the show notes. I'll put if people go into the show notes today, they can link right. I'll have a link for each one of you that goes straight to your My Fitness Pal page where they can friend you. And then, of course, come to the Fat to Fit group as well. All right, guys, I guess we all ought to go to sleep now.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks again, everybody. Much love.
It's nice
Until
meeting
Thanks, Carol.
everybody.
Yeah, hey. Yeah.
Huh.
Take care. Keep it up, folks.
You
All
keep
right.
it up, and we'll
Keep on
keep it.
jamming.
We'll keep it up because you're keeping it up. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Howie. Thank you, John. Thank you, Heron.
Yeah.
And Jim and Ray out there, too. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Good night. Okay.